Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for hanging out with Sean and I as we talk investing, finance, and retirement. And Sean, is saving too much for retirement a thing? We're going to talk about that this week here on the podcast. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. A little tired,
A little
but
tired?
I'm good though.
Good. Well, good. I'm a little tired too. So
Yeah.
we're taping this on a Monday morning, so that's to be expected, right?
Oh yeah.
But we got this question in to the podcast, and thank you so much for folks checking it out and listening and leaving feedback and sending in questions and all that stuff. That's awesome. Don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and you can click the links in the show notes below for that. But check out this question and break it down for us a little bit. So,
Okay.
a question comes in from Mike. Mike says, "My wife and I bring in a little over 200,000 a year. We max out two 401ks, an HSA, a 457B, and put some in a brokerage account. Yet I feel like we're living paycheck to paycheck sometimes. We're not living in our dream home. We're prioritizing putting money away for retirement versus maybe enjoying ourselves. And so my question is, should we pare that back and maybe enjoy life a little bit more? So is putting away like these guys are obviously diligent savers. Is there
Right.
a balance that we have to kind of think about when we start to get to a certain point between saving and enjoying?
Well, this is a cool question because it's like, this is a real thing.
Right.
There's
Okay.
people have saved. Some people save way too much, and I tell our clients all the time, especially when we're talking about their children, like, hey, savings and investing becomes a little bit addictive the longer that you do it,
True.
right? Like, and I don't want to say it's like a bad addiction,
No,
but
but you want to keep seeing it grow, and then it's like you
yeah.
kind of feed this beast. Yeah.
Oh, okay, when can I put the next chunk of money away? When can I do that? It starts to get exciting, but savings without an end goal in mind is just savings. It's not there's no real, I don't want to say there's not a benefit to that, but there's not, savings is just savings. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, did I save enough? Did I not save enough? Did I give up on certain things in life that I probably could have or should have done
Hmm.
that would have brought me joy? And so when we start to look at this particular question, maybe you are saving too much. Maybe you've saved enough to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah. Mike
Um,
didn't give us his age, so we're not sure how close he is to
well, and we don't
retirement.
know
But
that
yeah,
we don't know that Mike has built a plan, right?
true.
So,
He's got good
Mike,
stuff. He's got good stuff.
yeah, oh yeah,
Right.
he's got, hey, I put money into a brokerage account, which is awesome. I put money into an
401s.
HSA, which is
Yep.
great. 401ks. He's saving a lot of money for the future. But I would then say, okay, if you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, why is that?
Yeah.
You
Good
know,
point.
and the first step is, okay, if you feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck, go sit down with somebody and say, these are my goals in retirement. I want to retire at age, whatever, 60. I want to have this much income. This is my income source with Social Security.
Hmm.
Do I have a pension? Yes or no? These are all of my assets, and take the time to determine, based on where I currently sit, do I have enough money to retire?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I don't, how much more do I need to save? If I do, great. Then I can make the determination and I can pare it back. Maybe it's putting less money into the 401ks, and I would not stop the HSA. I like that, because that's tax
Yeah. Triple
pre-tax
taxed
money goes
advantage.
in,
Yeah.
tax deferred, tax free coming out for healthcare. So that's not what I would shift. And maybe take a look at putting more money into the brokerage account and giving yourself permission to spend a little bit for experiences that maybe you want to go on, or
Well, and that's where
things
the
that you
plan would
want to
help
do.
too, right? Because then you would see that black and white data and you go, okay, yeah, we are in pretty good shape. Do you find those savings benchmarks, those online things helpful? We'll put a link into one for people to check out from like T. Rowe Price, but do you find those helpful for like guidelines or baselines for people?
You know, it's fine,
Okay.
but it doesn't take into account. So like I'll use my mother as an example. She
Sure.
retired at 66 from Massachusetts. And if you looked at her, the guidelines themselves would be like, oh, you need to continue to work until you die.
Mm.
However, what it doesn't tell you is that she's got a pension that pays her a ton. She's got Social Security. My stepdad's got Social Security, and they make more money in retirement than they were making when they were working.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
So
Not
she's got
bad.
all those sources of income, and maybe she hasn't saved up to the $1 million or $2 million that they tell you should,
Right. But
but
she may not
she's
need that.
living a pretty good life right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't put a ton, like, yes, it's a great guide. Those are great guidelines. However, it's not the rule, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know how accurate they get, obviously. And again, sitting down with an advisor to going through all the stuff. And again, we don't know Mike's age, but like, he's talking about paycheck to paycheck. And if you're feeling like you're saving too aggressively and you're living paycheck to paycheck, well, what's your mortgage? How many car payments are you got going on? So again, if you are, I guess, saving too aggressively, what are some things to kind of, I guess, scale around, right? First, you got to get the numbers ran so that you know exactly if you are being too aggressive, then you could dial back from there.
Right. Right. And honestly, like, I love savings. Like, I save a lot of money.
Sure.
Each because that's like something that I really believe in.
And it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of that rainy day.
Yeah.
We max out our 401ks that we have here. We do save money into a brokerage account, but I also of the mindset that if there are some things that I want to do, that I'm not going to be afraid to spend money to have experiences. I'm a big baseball guy.
Sure. You travel and do those things. It's fun. Yeah.
Fenway Park is like my favorite all-time park. Well, this year for my daughter's 16th birthday and my mom's 70th birthday, we're sitting up on the Green Monster as kind of a celebration for them.
Nice.
Which is, I wouldn't do that every game, but I certainly want to have the ability to do that in certain instances.
Yeah.
And to kind of celebrate that. So saving is great. Saving is important, but if you feel like you're over saving, you probably need to figure out why you feel that way.
Well, okay, so if you're running an income analysis and all that kind of stuff for somebody, you're kind of going through the portfolio, because again, a lot of times we collect things, right? Like Mike's got a lot of things. He's got 2 401ks, an HSA, a 457, brokerage accounts. So we collect things and then we feel like, hey, I've got a retirement plan. But we don't, right? We got a collection of stuff. So now we need to pull it all together and then itemize and kind of run, put all the stuff in the software and kind of break this stuff out so we can see truly what do you have. And that's where like an income analysis and stuff is going to help him kind of see, all right, how much more do we need to put in or not put in, things like that. Is that accurate?
Well, and I would argue as you're doing that,
okay,
let's say, I know Mike didn't give us balances or anything like that.
Right.
But let's say that he saved $1 million.
Okay, sure.
And for simplistic purposes, he needs $3,000 a month from his investments because he's got other sources of income. So that's kind of the 3,000 is kind of his gap. Well, I would argue then start to put purpose to the money that you have. How much money is it going to take to create $3,000 a month of income from my investments? Perfect. Once we know that, and let's say, for example, it's $400,000. I'm just throwing that number out there, but
sure.
Now he's got another $600,000 that is there to do some of the lifestyle fun stuff.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
The trips, the things like that. And then he can have another chunk that, of that 600, maybe some of it's for additional income if needed, some of it's for growth. But now he's starting to put purpose to his money. And when you do that, you can then say, oh, I've saved enough.
Gotcha.
I'm there. Oh, now I can start to pull back when I'm currently saving to give myself a more flexible lifestyle now, rather than punish myself now for a really bright future.
Yeah.
But you can't do that until you know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And he doesn't give the age, and we'll kind of circle back and just kind of finish it with this, right? Like, obviously, we get a lot of your client base is getting closer to retirement or in retirement, but you also work with people that are younger. And of course, the YouTube channel is starting to get some more people's attention in that vein. And of course, with the market volatility this past month, people are maybe paying a little bit more attention, in some ways, sometimes, when we have these, different kinds of financial situations that go on, it kind of wakes us up a little bit, like the inflation thing a couple of years ago, when it kicked back in after not seeing it like that for 40 years, everybody suddenly is hyper aware of inflation, right? So maybe that's a good thing. But if you're 30 or 40, saving a lot, saving aggressively is probably a good thing, right? Because you're probably going to need more as we get as things start to happen through life, right? Whatever's going to happen with Social Security in the next 20 years or, something like that, or 30 years. If Mike's 50 or 60 or even 60 to 65, that could certainly change that perspective too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really changes the dynamic. And, the older that you are, yes, you have the ability to save more if you choose to.
Right.
But maybe you don't need to.
True. Yeah, we have the
Right?
catch-up phase, but maybe you're already in good shape and you don't really have to max it as much as they let you.
Exactly. And instead of saving that additional, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, maybe you just keep that in your pocket and you enjoy it now. If your plan is built to a point to where, hey, I can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, or go halvesies, right? Like you said earlier, okay, maybe we're gonna, we're at an age where we can put an extra, 7, 8, 10,000 in a year. But let's do half that and then do the other half on enjoying some experiences now, before the body starts to get a little bit more, cantankerous about doing stuff later on, right?
Exactly.
So, all right, well, good stuff. So, Mike, thanks for the question, man. It sounds like you've done a great job getting things put together. Now you need to go that step further and pull it all together, get a complete strategy looked at. And of course, Sean and the team can help with that. That's obviously what they do day in and day out. So if you got some questions, need some help, find them online at elevatemyretirement.com. Again, the links are in the show descriptions below. Click on the link, get some time on the calendar. Of course, the team's reaching out to Mike. But if you're in a similar situation, get yourself some time onto the calendar. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, and of course, YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and the notification button so you catch new episodes with Sean and I when they come out. My friend, thanks for breaking it down as always. See you next time.
Sounds good. See you soon.
We'll catch you later here on Retirement Elevated with Sean Lee.
This video has been prepared for educational and marketing purposes only. The information in this video is general in nature, does not constitute personalized investment advice, and does not provide a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. All investments involve risk, and different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk. There can be no assurance that any specific investment strategy will be profitable or suitable to you. Additionally, although information presented in this video is believed to be factual and up to date, we do not guarantee its accuracy. You should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation and should consult a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies mentioned in this video. Investment advisory services are offered through Elevated Capital Advisors LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC. Registration as an investment advisor does not constitute an endorsement of Elevated Capital Advisors LLC by securities regulators, nor does it indicate that the firm has attained a particular level of skill or ability. Insurance advice and products may be offered by a third-party insurance producer, which may be affiliated with Elevated Retirement Group LLC and Elevated Capital Advisors LLC. Mark Killian and Third Wheel Media LLC receive compensation for their assistance in preparing and hosting this video.